Marcy Furby, you guys know Saban. I mean, he's a FGC staple, runs MLBC up there in New York. So he tweeted out that MLBC on offline hasn't been doing too well. KOF 15 is the only one community to consistently have a tourney at the store. Stream numbers have been good. Maturino pots have been high for an 8 to 12 man tourney, but the store has been kind of empty. What happened, guys? Then he says he assumes it's because of these things that people are still scared to go out because of COVID. The PC is too good, and once you get a taste of how refreshed, it's hard to go back to PS4. And free entry tourneys making people not want to go out. So he basically gave this question to the FGC of what people's opinion of, why is it that people aren't coming back out? And some people say, yeah, it's because of COVID still. Some people say, yeah, it's because of because the PS4 has that delay and we've been doing it on PC. Some people say, the entry online is free. Some people say, hey, it's because of gas and stuff now. Yeah. So, what do you think, MC Mays, and what do you think could be the reason why, people really aren't coming back? And, some people in this thing saying it's not just New York, it's other places also that people just aren't coming back out. So, what do you think it is, MC Mays?
Well, I remember we had this conversation earlier this week, didn't we?
Yeah.
And you're talking about that's just the way it is, man. The age has changed. The age. Before, you would just go before home consoles, you wouldn't even have tournaments at just you would have to have them at certain places because you had arcade cabinets, right? And that's the thing, that kind of doesn't really happen as often here anymore, right? That's in certain niche places, there are arcade cabinets for that. But for the most part, we're using video game consoles now. And I just feel like maybe this is just another shift. You know what I mean, man? I do feel like we're in another shift where the times have changed. Like I said, gas. It's not even just one thing. It's all of them. It's gas. It's the ease of access, free entry fee, no entry fee. PC is too good. The pandemic. It's all of this stuff. It's all of it. Convenience. Above all, the most important thing, right? What's Rexon? What is the most important thing to you when you're going to a tournament?
For me personally, the most important thing is just the overall community aspect of it. Everybody coming together and really, socializing, the atmosphere, the environment, just everybody fellowshipping and stuff like that. That's really the most fun part to me. But, when you really start looking at it for other people, yeah, that could be fun for them. But when you really think about it, a lot of new people that's coming into the FGC, they're not really coming because they want to make friends. A lot of people just they play games over here. Let me go check it out. But if you figure out they're doing the same thing online and you could do it from your home, win money and do all the other stuff. New people, most people will probably just be like, let me chill at the house. Right. But for somebody who's been in the FGC for a long time, someone who was there before, we even knew what a COVID pandemic was, been in there for years. People like us can't imagine just not having those tournaments, not having in-person tournaments. But for newer people who just come, they're so you tell me I can win more money, not pay an entry fee and do it from my house?
Yeah. You know what, man? I know we're talking about all of the I guess the reasons why people don't go to to offline events. But just for a second, I would like to wax nostalgic with you for a minute here. And thinking about the very even going back Thursday Night Throwdown and stuff like that, right? Coming in, you're taking pictures, and we're just random, we just happen to randomly meet each other several times, right? And we meet each other at collisions and several Thursday Night Throwdowns. Then you remember
everywhere.
You remember when you wanted to do the interview about the hitbox?
Yeah.
You remember that? That was really cool. You know what I mean? And that was something that would not have been able to have been accomplished if we hadn't like been like in doing an in-person kind of thing, right? And it's, I mean, like I don't like the idea of the old ways kind of like fading, not necessarily fading, but they're kind of, I mean, if we want to go back to the way things were, they're definitely going to be taking a back seat for a while. Like we're not going to be seeing as many offline events. Like I said, like easily just off rip, gas, pandemic, free free entry fees. All three reasons, off rip. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I mean, that wouldn't have happened if we was just like, hey, let's move into this online thing. But it's so many different ways I want to come at this. I'll just stick to why right now we feel like people aren't coming to terms. And right now it's like you say, it's just a lot of reasons. It's a mixed bag. Like it's not just one reason that everybody is in unison saying we're not coming to this.
Right.
Some people want to come, but gas is too high. I mean,
Right.
I have to conserve my gas. Some people probably do like ride sharing type things for a living. I mean, that eats up a lot of gas. You have to basically pay gas to do your business. Some people drive an hour to work every day. That can eat up a lot of gas. I mean, so that's one reason. The pandemic is another reason. There's some people who just don't feel safe here and they're not coming.
Yeah.
Another thing is online. I mean, why some people just feel like, why would I come in person when I could do it online? And for me, those are the type of people who really kind of just like, you might be a part of the FGC, but a mindset like that, in my personal opinion, can really end up hurting the FGC because, it's like we're not supporting what made us what we were in the first place, made us who we are in the first place. Right. So you don't want to forget the old landmarks, and try to redefine or remake things or redo things or refashion things. So it's a plethora of reasons of why it's happening now. So it's gonna be kind of hard to do like a concrete reason and stuff right now when there's just so much that's going on in the world right now. I mean, it's like we're in a time right now that's just like, I know people in my lifetime, the generation behind, I mean, there hadn't been a time like this. I mean, I ain't gonna speak for older people. I'm sure they could come back and just be like, oh, well, back in my day, so, but as far as us, I mean, this has been a time unlike any other.
Yeah.
But one thing I will throw out, and I guess this kind of like goes with the topic that we're going to discuss later. So I'll just hit a little bit because it might come out a little bit later. But I feel like one issue that we're having is just there's too many locals.
Yeah.
I mean, my goodness, down here where we are in the DFW area, I mean, you have a plethora. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Sunday,
there's
Sunday.
something going on. There's so many tournaments and stuff like that. So it's hard to just, what am I going to support? I can't go to all of them. I love the FGC, and that was kind of an issue I was having. I love the FGC. I want to support all this stuff, but I just can't, I can't go to all of them. So I just have to pick and choose the ones like, okay, I'll go to this one, I'll go to that one, and that'd be about it. Cause I mean, there's some places down here that, some legit companies themselves are throwing like 4 tournaments a week. So it's just like, it's just too much. And that could be something that's really interfering with, tournament attendance. Is just that there's just too many options. I mean, it's just too many options. It's too much going on, and it really divides how we could be doing stuff in the community, how far we could be getting in the community, just because there's just too many tournaments. And that could be another thing, and especially in the time where money is tight, even the people who did say, I'll just go to a bunch. I mean, you probably can't afford to go to a bunch now.
Yeah, not anymore.
So, yeah. So those are some things for me. I'm sure we'll touch a little bit more on that in another topic we got coming up. But yeah. So, I mean, it's unfortunate it's like this. I mean,
you know what? That gesture you just did right there, that big sigh, I know how you feel. Because I remember, like you said, we remember what it was like before the pandemic. You're sitting there and like you're just like mingling with your buddies, like you're what you call it, and they're, you know, just like hanging out. I mean, like 30, 40 people in a room. I mean, like you understand, like this is a situation where like, you know, like everybody's coming in and nobody has to worry about anything. Everybody's kind of like, you know, there's no worry from anybody about anything other than, am I going to go 0-2 in this tournament? Right? Like, and when I think about like the kind of, I would put it like this way, like the kind of freedom we had to like go anywhere because we weren't worried about like, you know, whether or not like we were like, you know, whether like, you know, somebody was vaccinated or something like that. We didn't have to worry about that because we didn't have like that issue like plaguing us, like literally plaguing us like day to day. So it's like I mean, I was getting a little, but like thinking back on that and thinking about, man, all the times I got to hang with all my buddies playing video games, even watching like what was it, Debonair Dandy and Antique Legend play Grand Blue Fantasy Versus for the first time. You know what I mean? Like it's I gotta tell you, bro, it's a little suffocating, to be honest. I feel a little like there's sometimes I think about the state of like how things have like changed and like the way that it like, you know, imposes on the way that we like live our day-to-day lives. It is very suffocating. So, you know, and especially when it comes to something like fighting games, like being a part of the FGC that I really, really enjoy. Like I like thinking back, like I'm very like, even though it was only a couple of years ago, I am extremely nostalgic and like just like a very like a yearning for those times again, you know?